Okay, so guys, good morning once again. Feels good to be back. As you know, it's your number one family entertainment channel. Today's Wednesday. The week has been officially divided, and of course, you already know. Say every Wednesday, we always bring barrister come studio. Where would they look the legal side of everything? Because truly, I think almost everything we do on it is actually under the law. So and that's now why we guys be very careful of our actions. Because they always tell you that ignorance of the law is actually not an excuse. I don't know in the hearing for court. They say once you don't do them, you will face the wrath of the law. So if you've been enjoying the show last week, say Barrister and I actually mentioned something, and I actually did, not because I be a woman or trying to be a feminist or stuff. I had to because of the way the case don't take be for inside Nigeria. It's not becoming a norm, which is not supposed to be. We keep recording cases on a daily. They will tell you it happened in Ibadan today, yesterday was in Lagos, blah, blah, blah. Almost everywhere. And I had to ask, I said, do we really have a law that backs rape? That is against rape? Like, is there any law relating to rape? And Barrister was like, fine, there's a law. There are laws, as a matter of fact. And guess what is actually here? I won't be doing justice to that, definitely. The person with Sabi, Barrister, they here this morning. I'll be talking a whole lot about rape, sexual harassment, sexual assault, laws, and all of that. Everything you guys need to know. So you don't want to touch the dial. This is just the best thing that can happen to you. So guys, let's just welcome Barrister. Barrister, what are you typing?
I'm typing love.
You're typing love?
Love.
You're typing love to your wife on set?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you look good.
Hallelujah. Thank you very much.
Good morning,
Thank
sir.
you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Let me say primarily that today's show is dedicated to my sister.
Oh, is she watching?
My sister. I hope she's watching.
My sister, you should have told her to
I
watch
told
now.
her, I guess.
Yeah, are you the sister?
Yes.
That you entered? Are you missing me again?
Dedicated to my sister, my benefactor. She's 70 today.
Oh.
And I want to say big thank you to you.
Happy birthday, ma'am.
And for those of you who are watching, that's my sister. She was the one that came to collect me from the hospital because my father couldn't come. And she was the first person that went with me to primary school. Oh. And she also was there at the day when I was being called to the bar. She has been more than a sister, a mother, father combined together.
Oh, that's
so
good.
I owe her a lot. And my sister, wherever you are, I tell you, to the rest of my life, I will always say thank you.
Thank you so much, mommy.
My grandchildren, we always hear about you. You chose to sacrifice for me, and where I am today, where I am, is because of what you have done. The sacrifice you and your younger sister paid to make me where I am today.
Oh, versus all. So emotional. Can you just leave the studio? Chief, what's your problem?
Thank you very much, my sisters.
Thank you. What's her name, Barrister?
Reverend Mercy Ezekiel.
Okay.
Reverend Mercy Ezekiel.
And 70 is a big deal, but
Christian Pentecostal Mission of Nigeria. I mean, she has that year. Let me tell you, whether you're watching me or not, just know that you have sown a seed in life. Your life has not been a wasted one. You really have sown a seed. I mean, I'm just one of many people that you have helped. But for me and you, it's an emotional thing because I know you could have done otherwise. You could have done otherwise. But you chose. You swore that you will see me become successful. And you lived to that success. You lived to that, your oath. I remember the day you told my mother that I would never work until I finish my school. And you kept to it, even it was very, 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 very difficult for you. If you had what you had now and trained me, I would have said it was training me out of abundance. But I know that then you didn't have. But you did so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I can speak English. I can be on WAP TV today because of you, by God's grace. Because you did what you have done for me. I'm very grateful.
Please, what's your own? Chief, what is your problem? Are you the sister? No. Are you the brother? No. But really, that was touching, Barrister. Seriously. And it's just a message to everyone.
Two of them.
Oh, there are two?
I mean, there's my sister. There are two sisters. First sister, second sister. And I mean, between the two of them, but because I stayed with this sister a lot. And, holding me, I mean, I was not a particularly gentle child. You know, I was looking for a hero on the streets, but she with her husband, my first sister, my second sister with her husband, were the role models I could pick. And today, I reflect that the
Yeah.
impact on me. I say big thank you to all of you.
We're
Thank you.
grateful,
Thank you.
mommy, if you're watching. No,
Thank
she's
you.
grandma.
Thank you. She's
Thank
grandma.
you,
She's grandma.
grandma.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for all you
much.
did in life of barrister. Thank you for
Yeah,
making him a
thank you.
success.
Thank you for the suit you bought for me on my wedding day.
Oh, well, she's so involved.
Thank you.
She has been so involved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
very
you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
So we're dedicating the show to her today.
Yes, I am. I am.
Special
Totally.
edition.
I know the remarkable thing I always tell you that, you know, she's not my total in terms of, let's put it this way. My father had my mother before my mother.
Okay.
So she had a choice of saying this is a half brother.
Oh.
She had the choice.
But then
Both
she chose
of them
to...
had the choice of saying this is our half brother, and we don't.
Oh, we know how it goes. We know how it happens.
Yeah, but you know,
I think it's just different.
they just poured their lives into me, poured everything into me, and
That's good. She knows, like you said, Barista, she's going to reap it. She's already reaping it. You know, watching you become who you are today is a success story, not just to you, but also to herself. So I'm sure she's proud of you. Even if she's not watching, she's always proud of you. You know, she will always look at you and be happy. No, I'm sure because you're someone to be proud of. You know, Barista, the little time we've spent on the show, you know, I think I can say one or two things about you. So if we are proud of you, because the truth is, if you don't have it, I trust my management. They won't even tell you to come lecture or, you know, want to give back to the society. So you're worth it.
Thank
and
you
you're
very
worth
much.
Very many more.
All because of the grace of God that was deposited on our life to help me. Thank you. Yes, so today we're talking about rape.
Rape.
And it's very important that everybody listening to me, you understand, because we talk about the legal dimension of rape. You know, rape is something that you should not joke with. It's not to be joked with at all. At all. And that's why I will go into it and help us to understand the way we ought to look at it. Rape is what they call when there's
consent.
Lack of consent in having a sexual relationship with somebody else. It's when you kind of force yourself on someone else to have a sexual intercourse with a person. Now, it's different from sexual assault or sexual offences, as it were, different. Sexual assault is an assault that does not lead to rape, but is more or less like is suggestive of you are assaulting the person sexually. Groping at groping at a woman's breast.
Oh.
Or, you know, slapping a woman's backside.
Oh.
You know, and that also could apply to a man.
Okay.
So in that case, you are not
touching me without my consent.
Yes, you are not raping the person, but you are assaulting the person. You are assaulting the person. And it can also go to issue of, you know, derogatory use, or probably, you know, sometimes picking a picture of somebody who is nude and spreading it. That's, you know, sexual. And you also, so when you go to sexual offences, you go to the area where sometimes it's not, you know, because a rape, it has to do with an intercourse. The sexual organs intercoursing. But in sexual offences, for instance, if you use, say, an object to injure somebody or to penetrate somebody, which is not, in this case, it's not you, but you are using something else to do it, then that could be a sexual offense. It could be different gamut, because that one is, even when you call it at, I'll go into it as well, because it's not just rape that we're talking about here. We're talking about the whole gamut of rape. Now, I'll come back to the basics, the legality. But let me just quickly talk about the general tales before I go into the legalities. Because I don't know how soon we can get to this, but let me check now. Number one, you should know is that whenever it is anything that is called rape, sexual offences, as much as possible, avoid it. For those of us who are watching me, avoid it. And I'm going to explain what I mean by avoiding it, because no matter what you can say that this person was one that invited it,
Called for it.
no, call for it. Avoid it, because the milieu now is that it's a very dangerous thing. In fact, you have to be very careful that you don't put yourself in a position where you can be tagged or accused of it. Right now, anything that has to do with sexual offense is looked at with so much seriousness that before they even hear you talk, you might find that you are in jail, and it's even possible that you didn't do it. So that's why, she was dressed in a way, she was the one that came to my house. She was coming to your house does not mean that she wants sex. So you have to understand the implication, because now when you are accused of it, it takes time to get out of it. So that's number one. So, she had taken too much, or she was under the influence of alcohol and she was pushing herself out to me. Avoid it. Number two, I'm coming back to legalities very soon. Number two, don't put yourself in a position where it can be implied to you, whether you can be implicated in it. Don't. Because I tell young people, and there are so many young people who are around, who have not done it, but they placed themselves in circumstance that it can be, said to have been. And some boys are discussing that they want to gang rape a girl. Don't even be a part of that discussion. As much as possible, run away from it, because once it happens and you are implicated, there's a lot, and it's a serious thing. Number three, don't cover up when it happens. Don't be an accessory to a covering up of it. So when it is happen, the best thing, particularly when you're a mother, and you're the mother of a son that they're accused of it, the best thing is quickly go and find a way of settling or report. Because if you are found to be an accessory to it, it can even be by implication, something. So I'm telling you this one because I'll come to all the legalities as we go on. Because if you're a victim or you know a victim, quickly report. Report as it were quickly, so that you get an opportunity. Because the way it is now is that the way the court looks at it is, why do we have to indulge I give an instance. I'll give you an instance, and that's why I said, okay.
Okay, before Barrister give us examples, let's go for the quick break. When we come back, open the lines, and I think Barrister, you never even start the topic.
No.
We never even started.
Because it's serious.
It's serious, yeah.
Very serious.
So let's go for a break, and then we'll be right back.
Our people dey talk say ignorance of the law no be excuse.
If my name na in for property, my child no fit take that thing.
But I get one question. Now, if person die now and he put his wife or he put any of his relative as next.
Ignorance of the law no be excuse o. That na why we get one ogbonge program wey we dey call Legal Matta on top WAP TV.
Just in case just they join us, you never to really miss, because we said some very few things for that break. Okay, so this morning it's quite sensitive. It was quite emotional for Barrister anyways, because the whole shout out and all of that. And of course, we can't discuss a very sensitive topic again, which is the legal dimensions of rape and sexual offenses in Nigeria. And before Barrister go, of course, we've been talking about some things. You know, rape is something that you should stay away from. You don't tell you say there's no excuse. You need to just don't even think it. Don't even be an accessory. Don't even reason it. Not even they cut up. Not even they near when they are doing it. And of course, he told us in a lack of consent and many more. When he said that we're going to come back to talk more on that, he meant it. So we are definitely going to continue. But as we continue, remember, say you get the opportunity to call us, ask us questions. If you've been victim before and they feel, say, okay, how you want to get justice? They tell you, say, no fit. There's nothing you can do. Please feel free. Or you know person, when we say he do am, you understand? And fear have been catching you to even call the person. Just call and share your experiences. Just talk to us, talk to Barrister. Are they very sure of the fact, say, they casually ready to take your questions this morning. Barrister, I don't know if I can ask you one, because I know you have a lot to talk about on this topic this morning. Now, myself and one of my colleague, Stanley White, they talk. There's a particular case on ground of a celebrity that a girl in particular actually says she was raped like 10 years ago thereabouts, you know, after an event and all of that. And he was like, now Senecon asked me, say, assisting me for this kind of case. Now, first off, why she no talk as of that time where the thing be happen? And I said, I've never been a victim, but from what we hear, they say it is always very difficult for them to come out and tell how they feel. So most times they come out maybe after they don't recover. But then she chose to come out now because a whole lot of persons are actually talking on the case. And he said, okay, now if she's coming out to talk, say, how they won't prove now, say the person they guilty, since evidence know this, that if it had been then, obviously they would have gotten something to test and then they'll say, okay, fine, this person. So in this kind of situation now, those years of you coming out, like maybe years after the stuff happened, does it matter in law, or would they question her for not coming out? And she also
if it can be proved, because you know there are instances of people who had, you know, there was a journalist or radio TV presenter somewhere in England, very popular, who was engaged in child molestation way back, and even if I even see recently in America too, Bill Cosby, you know, because of, you know, people who came out and said that, if the evidence is still very there, if we can give circumstances, I mean, probably people who heard when it happened, people you told, people that
like witnesses
or probably people that knew, probably someone that claimed you, or people that were around. You mightn't have pushed, you mightn't have gone ahead to press charges then, probably because of you were hushed, you were told to keep quiet and things like that. But you know, if all those people can come together and say, okay, it happened, and
they were there, they were aware,
and the evidence can be reasonable, beyond reasonable doubt, to say, okay, this man actually did it. But that's why you have to know, anybody that's accused of rape, you don't take it for granted. You don't take it for granted, because the point is that, which brings me to the next point I wanted to mention, that please don't use accusation of rape to settle scores. It's very important that you don't use it. I mean, it's a bad thing to do when it's just about trying to settle score. Because when you accuse somebody of rape, it goes a long way. Because, for instance, there's just a recent case of landlord and tenant who were fighting, and the landlord, you know, was accused by the tenant of raping the one of the relatives. And right now, the way it is now, the landlord is in prison for 15 years. And even there's another man that had been, anytime he had a problem with anybody, and this man is in custody of some young girls, he will just accuse that person of defining those young people. It's just recently, like, people are now saying that, look, how come? How come is even a woman defies, a man defies? How come only? So what's happened to those girls? You know, so that you have to be very careful that you don't use rape as a tool. So whether it is because of so if you really have issues that, okay, the person did it, why not? Why not? Just that time has a way of you know, might have let's not say rubbish, but at least made the evidence a bit tenuous. It might not be there as cogent as ganga, as quickly when it was well done at the beginning. So that's one thing that you have
So
to.
now it's based on the people now. Not
Yeah,
based
if you can, probably, when it happened, there were a lot of things, probably people that saw and things like that. Probably even picture were taken. Probably there was no picture. Probably a lot of hospital that she was taken to. They mightn't have pressed charge and things like that. That's why they always say that when this happens, yes, it is a bit of might be befuddling your emotion.
Yeah.
But as much as possible, get a grip and let it be reported formally, so that even if the charge is not pressed, then you can always say, okay, I'm ready now, and things like that,
take it up.
and what have you. But I will also say again, please don't do it. Don't accuse anybody of rape. Now, self-defense in rape is possible, and in fact, when it comes to rape, that's another point, that you are free to defend yourself if you feel that you are. The law allows you to defend yourself when you see there's a possibility of harm to you, or harm to your life, or harm to your body. You are allowed to put self-defense. Yeah, in fact, there is a case that I know that a 15-year-old girl killed the father's friend who was trying to rape her.
Yeah, I think I saw that case.
The girl was let go because in the circumstance of that, some people say that the force used must be commensurate with the attempt made. Some people say, look, no, as long as the law is concerned, that look, once the person you have a threat to your life, you can put up a reasonable effort to defend yourself, and if it leads to the death of that perpetrator, why not? But you have to be very careful that you don't just say that you kill somebody, because first and foremost, you will still be arrested if you are caught for homicide. It will now take a while to prove that, okay, this homicide
did it to
was
defend
during
yourself.
but as much as possible, perpetrators of this, you should know that you're also risking your life. You are risking your life.
Barrister, I'm sorry, while you were talking before we went on the break, there was something you mentioned. You said, don't cover up when it happens.
Yeah, don't
Now,
cover up.
we've had situations whereby maybe victims of this, like I said, it takes them a whole lot for them to open up.
Yeah.
Now, if I know, say, okay, this person was actually raped by this person, and the person that was raped refused to talk. Now, if I go talk and she deny him, what happens? Like because I don't most times.
You'll just be accused of that you are trying to incite, So I mean, I agree with you. That's why you have to get consent, the buy-in of that person somehow. But if you cannot get the buy-in, but that's why the circumstance must be such that can prove. Yes,
That it did, it
because right
happened.
now in the police department, they have a lot of gender sessions that they are used to. I mean, they are sensitized to the trauma that rape victims go through, so they know that sometimes a rape victim might not want to talk or whatever. In fact, by the way, I intend to bring a guest next week, who is into this area for women, and you can even a safe center, and you can even counsel you more, because it's something that many women, when they go through it,
The trauma.
the trauma, it's horrible. It's horrible, and that's why you find a woman trying to defend herself, and the man victim or the perpetrator becoming more forceful, and sometimes even killing the person just because of this. And that's why, as much as possible, protect yourself as well. Don't give room for that. If you have not really, you are sure of who you are dealing with, then avoid being with them, and avoid places that can put you in that. Avoid going to meet them in lonely places or secret places. Avoid those things, and
Is it still rape if the two of them were under an influence?
Yeah, because you see, the point is that when it comes to influence, let's put it this way, okay, that the law says that under the Child Rights Act, which I'll come to soon, no matter the influence, if you have a sex with somebody which under 18, without, I mean, even if there's consent, there's a jail term, because except the person is married. Yes, in fact, there was a case when two youngsters were got involved in this sexual thing, and the father, because people don't understand that even a 16-year-old to a 16-year-old girl, 16-year-old boy to a 16-year-old girl, is actually under the law, or that is not allowed, because to that extent. So if the father of the boy, the father of the girl, decides to pick on that boy, the boy can be jailed. Can be jailed, because as far as sex with a youngster under 16, under 18 is like it's like you are trying to lure her. You still consider that child should not be into sexual relationship and what have you. But what you find that many people there is is a normal thing. So that's why you have to be. I've seen it, I've read it, where a man was so vociferous. I mean, said that this boy must be tried for rape, because and both of them were under influence, like you said. Both of them were under influence. Well, when they went to party, they have taken whatever they took, but the man saw them, and then decided to take up the son, to take up the boy, and it was family to family issue, but became a police issue, and the police said if the man wanted to press charge, we press charge.
Go on.
Yeah. So you have to be very careful that the person is under influence does not even, in that sense, give you that room. Now, so let me go into the law per se. The phone lines are open, by the way, so that those of us who want
Obviously.
to
I'm sure they are
open.
taking notes.
Yeah. So rape is, like I said, it's non-consensual sexual intercourse. So when a man has a sex with a woman, and without the consent of that woman, then you can say that it is a rape. Now, I've told you about sexual assault. It's similar, but it's not the same as rape. When you have sexual assault, it's not rape. Rape is when there's a penetration. Rape, one of the things about there are three, about 4 or 5 laws that regulate the issue of rape. In southern Nigeria means from Lagos, the east, the west, to Lokoja, or what is it called, Kogi State. You find that in that area, the law that this is criminal code. Then from Abuja upward, I mean, leave Abuja alone, but from other states, it is called penal code. Penal code. In Lagos State, for instance, there's also the criminal laws of Lagos State, which has been modified so that it can lead to Lagos State. And then there's also the Violence Against Persons Act. That law relates more to those who in Abuja, so that in that law is like whatever you call it, whether it's sex related or whatever, what is violence against persons, whether it's a boy, a man, a girl to a boy, because I've seen it where boys are raped. But I mean, we're not calling it rape in that sense, but they are forced to have intercourse with the girl. So in that case, the strict law of rape might not be okay, because rape by definition under our laws says that it is the penetration of the vagina by the female and the male genital. So it's like there must be penetration to see that it's a rape. So technically speaking, a woman cannot, so to say, rape a man because it's other. But it happens that this, I've seen it. I mean, I've heard it. I've seen it. Even I've seen a child that was molested by the maid and things like that. So to that extent, you leave that to say, okay, there's Violence Against Persons Provision Act, which is more or less in Abuja. Then there's a Child's Right Act, which says that is a gamut that is covering for the children from 0 to even when before they are born till 18, so that they are covered and whatever. Now, so once under criminal code, once you have sex with somebody, either because by issue of force, or you threaten them, or you intimidate them, and because of that they give in, or you forcefully or manipulatively, or because they are not even in a position to understand what is happening. Once that's happened, it is a rape. Now, the punishment for rape could be as much as life sentence. could be as much as life sentence. So you have to be very careful about this. Now, under the
Is it
penal,
that it varies?
oh yes, it depends on the extent of sometimes even the lawyer that you got.
Okay.
Sometimes about how they can prove it, how they can prove the case very well. So it's not like usually that is the same thing that goes. Yes,
okay.
no. It's, in fact, I was speaking with one of my beloved sisters yesterday night. Was talking about look that someone that got 15 years, that she was shocked that the man got 15 years because you know that recently it's about 7 years, 15 years, and what have you. But you know, like if a rape goes like sometimes there are rapes that led to death. You know, rape led to death, and you know, particularly when probably the person raped or defied is a minor. And that's why you have to look, you know, particularly with this lockdown, what have you.
Yeah.
Guard yourself. I mean, you understand that. Don't say you are tempted. Let these things help you out. You know, and we should honor the penal code. It's a woman against her will without a consent, and that consent is just the same thing. Look, if it's you are putting fear on her, you are putting fear, you know. So once that happens, but under that, what the difference between the criminal code and the penal code is that under the criminal code, sexual intercourse by the man with his wife is not a rape.
Timothy, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you doing?
Timothy.
I'm very fine.
All right.
Timothy is becoming a regular caller here.
I have a question, sir.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, please go on.
Yeah, so in criminal law, can a man be raped?
Yeah.
Because how is the penetration going to go then? Can a man be raped?
Exactly what I'm trying to say, that you know it might not be possible to say a man was raped, but you can bring in other, you know, assault, you know, because that's why you have a law that deals with you know, in Abuja, for instance, I was explaining to you that in Abuja now what they have is Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. You know, it's that they have the kind of law that is, no matter what, you can place it that okay, I didn't want to have sex with you, you forced me or you did something to me. So that one is like a violence to me. You have done something against my will to intimidate me and things like that. But technically speaking, but you know, in some crimes in Nigeria, we still have very sparse literature on that area. But in some crimes, yes, it has been agreed that a man can rape a woman. Because
Or a man can be raped.
Yes, a man can. A woman can rape a man because if there's a penetration one way or the other, but just like.
But even if there was no penetration, if the man says no, and the woman refuses, or maybe like we've seen movies where maybe she took advantage of the mood the mood.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Or maybe the guy was under an influence, he was high, he was drunk or something, and such happens.
You know, I was saying that. Some people have asked me, can a wife be raped by her husband?
Yes. In marriage, is there anything like rape, Barrister?
You see, that's in under the criminal penal code. There's nothing called rape. A man cannot rape his wife. But it's been said that to a degree that if the marriage is becoming maybe they're splitting and there's nothing called that relationship between them, maybe non-consent of the woman can become a basis for rape, because probably you guys have not seen eye to eye on issues.
Okay, let's take Chima from Kogi.
Hey, Chima.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, everybody, good morning. I enjoy your show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, how far man we don't go? How far man we don't make advances on a woman before the woman go do something to call him self-defense? Like how far person go don't go?
Like
I know if you get the question. How within the extent of the advances?
I like that question. Very brilliant question. That's why, you know, when such thing happens, it can become a basis of legal fireworks. Chima, I mean legal, because you know the question becomes like, what have I done to warrant what he did? You know, what have I done? You know, because okay, somebody is even trying to make a man, because there are also levels of sensitivities. Some people probably they had seen a rape before, and they have sworn that they will never be a victim of that. So any attempt can become a basis of I'm going to fight to finish. I get me. So, and it could be even, I mean, it could be that you're not even intending what you thought you were intending and what have you. So that's why it becomes an issue that the woman that is trying to, it's, let's say like, it's a delicate balance. The woman that is trying to defend herself, we have to be very careful that it's reasonable defense. You can say that from the picture I've seen, and then, like I said, if you have finished doing what you have done, does not mean that the law will not, take its own course. It's just that you can have the ground to explain that I did this because of what I was facing at that point in time. Are you getting me? I retorted, or I did what I did because I thought that this was, or this is a scenario, and you have to prove it very well, and what have you. So the point is, those of us who are watching me, please, especially for the men, it's high time you understand that this is grave. Honestly, if he says no, leave her. I mean, in fact, don't even put yourself in a position, because nowadays, I can tell you that people are in serious big trouble because of allegations, because of possibilities. So, run as much as you can do from such.
Okay, Jackson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please go on with your question.
Okay, I just want to ask this question concerning this raping that is going on in Nigeria today.
Okay.
I am so overwhelmed with the topic you guys are treating this morning. But the question is that with what is going on today, how can we define rape? Because by looking what girls, for example, are doing, the kind of dressing that is coming up, that's what we call New Age movement. Is it the fault? Is it from guys or from girls? I just want to know, because there's a portion in the Bible that says, woe unto this, the other person that causes his or her neighbor to fall into sin. So I just want to ask this question: is it the fault from guys or from women?
Okay. Let me give you an example like this, because because of time, because there's a difference between law and moral. Law says that this is what should not be done. Moral probably the girl dressed immorally, but that is not a justification for you to do what is illegal. I get me. It's a difference. I mean, my wife and I were, somewhere some time ago, and we saw, I had seen two men kissing themselves. My wife didn't see. So I shielded my wife from seeing. But when my wife saw it, she shouted, "Yay!" I had to say, "Please, I beg you, don't cover us in this country." Because it's not about moral. It's not about moral. It's about the law. That the girl is wearing what she's wearing does not give you, please. And that's why she even run. Close your eyes, run.
We'll definitely continue from here next week. So, guys, please make sure you tune in again next week, Wednesday. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.